And so we're really focused on that last step because we think that's the biggest safety opportunity, and that's the one where you get the real societal wins with mobility. But I think that's one of the things we have to together work through, is that this technology has so much opportunity to save lives. And the fact that 94% of the accidents that happen on our roads are due to human error means that if we can take a big bite out of that by bringing this technology to bear, we all win from that.
And when you first read this out loud, it sounds harmless and proper enough. A group of lawmakers getting together, forming a coalition that would seek to work with our valued and honest lawmakers, those fine federal regulators, and even those little people in the general public to ensure that self-driving vehicles are kept as safe as possible and become a huge benefit to society. Sounds great. Save for the fact that when we take into consideration the duplicity from automakers these days, it would seem to light up that bulb in the backseat of life, telling us we're being had, lied to, snookered, being used for someone else's financial and political gain. Hey, call me a skeptic. Let's get some answers. She knows more about those motorized mechanisms on four wheels than those who work in the industry or claim to actually work there. Most of them don't. They just hang on the outside. The nationally syndicated car coach, welcome back, Lauren Fix. Lauren, Ford, Google, Uber, Lyft, Volvo, coalition push for federal self-driving car policy. Is it just me, or is it just something it sounds too good to be true?
Something's fishy in Denmark?
Yeah.
Yeah, or that might be Sweden if you're Volvo.
Or it might be Washington, D.C., the way things go these days.
Well, and that's probably the problem, that they're all pushing because they know there's a huge quantity of money. It always comes down to money, no matter how you slice it, going for the autonomous car industry. Volvo has been a front runner in it. So has Audi, who's not part of this coalition. So is Google. And in addition to that, so is Ford. So there's other manufacturers that are involved in this that have also put in money toward autonomous cars, but they're not involved in this coalition yet. And I just think it's going to be more government regulation, more ways to keep an eye on what you're doing. I think if the government had their choice, they'd have you in a little pod. They would tell you where you're going, when you're going, and how to get there, and you would have no say at all. And honestly, that may sound like so far-fetched, but I tell you what, their choice would be, if they could do anything, that all cars would be autonomous, and all of us that have collector cars or that like to drive, that's going to be illegal.
I got to tell you something, though. That doesn't sound all that bad for about 85% of the American population, because most people are as stupid as rocks when it comes to being on the road. And if it makes us a little safer, come on, I've driven I-95 and I-10 a number of times. I know what goes on there. Isn't it, I'll play devil's advocate, in some instances, not a bad idea?
Well, the cost of this is going to be very expensive. Again, we keep coming back to how are we going to pay for this? So you and I can't afford to buy a new car every year. There may be some people out there, but that's part of the 1% of the 1%. Now, for the rest of the world, we can't. So if you make these vehicles illegal on the road, if that's what their ultimate goal is, and that's, from what I'm hearing, that's what their ultimate goal is, to be able to control everything. You buy a car, it controls you. You know what? I already have a problem. Yeah, I've got cell phones, I've got smart devices, I've got computers. When they lock up and they don't work, great. So
yeah, but I got news for you. The 19-year-old next to me who's doing 85 miles an hour, who's texting like this, who's sitting right here doing this while they work, I'm fine with them being controlled. I got no issue with that.
They should be in the back of a cab or a car service or riding with someone. But those people, here's the problem. If you know that smoking is bad for you. We all know that. You can't make it illegal. You can't take the cigarettes away from people. You can limit them. You can decide who has them. But people are going to decide to do what they want. You know, even Bloomberg tried to tell you couldn't have too much salt and you couldn't have big drinks, and everyone revolted. So all I'm saying is people are going to have to learn, just like we do with seatbelts, just like we do with airbags. You're going to have to learn. And unfortunately, there's going to be, I hate to say this, is going to be a problem until people start realizing there are distractions everywhere. There are clouds, there are billboards, there are signs, there are drive-thrus, there are beautiful women and hot-looking guys on the side of the road that make you go, what? You know?
Personal responsibility, personal responsibility.
Yes.
There we go again. 2 minutes left. Two things to get in very quickly. Mitsubishi says they cheated on their fuel tests for 25 years. And there are some people believing that this could be a death knell for Mitsubishi. Yes or no?
Well, it won't be for the whole corporation. They're one of the largest corporations in the world, but it could be for them selling vehicles here in the U.S., which have been horrible sales. Their product isn't the best on the planet, but I mean, they always had great fuel economy. So they're saying that it is not true that the United States fuel economy numbers are wrong. Yeah, well, the CARB board and EPA and everybody else, DOJ, they're all after them. So we'll see if we're still going to be selling Mitsubishi product here in the U.S.
Well, so far, not in the U.S. A lot of these are Japanese cars, but you and I both know that the EPA, CARB are going to get all over this right now because they want to make sure that nothing happens here in America. Something else from the manufacturers. Boy, this is all we're spending on these days. Volkswagen now is going to spend $9 billion with a B on the U.S. diesel buy, back, and fix. Where are all those cars going to go now?
Well, first off, I think that's a light number, to be honest with you. They put $7.6 billion aside. I think we're looking well over $10 billion. They'll make it up. It'll take years. But where are those cars going? You can't have them in California, right? We don't have a solution for them. They're going to buy them back. Well, I'll tell you where they're going to go. The same thing happened with the cash for clunkers. They're going to go to the Middle East. They're going to go to Mexico because there's already people buying them. There are people out there looking for them. They're going to ship them down to Central America, wherever they can, to make money. Hey, maybe we can't sell them here. We'll sell them elsewhere. As P.T. Barnum says, there's a but for every seat.
Well, there's also a sucker born every minute, too. But, I mean, look at this. Here we are trying to control emissions, which are still look, there's still too many cars still spewing junk on the road every single day that don't have their emissions proper. So we're not really getting rid of them. We're just sending them someplace else. Guess what? So it won't waft its way over Dallas, Texas, or Miami, Florida, but it'll still be polluting the atmosphere every single day.
The thing is, what are you going to do with the cars? You're not going to total them. Most of these cars are in perfect condition. Some of them are brand new. So, I mean, they're not going to get rid of them. There will be some countries that say no, and there'll be other countries that say, yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, the EPA just keeps increasing and dragging down those emissions numbers because they want electric vehicles. They want plug-ins because that's what the president wants. Oh, wait, this is politics again.
See how it all comes around?
It always comes to money and politics.
Big circle. It all comes around right away, and we're all swirling down the drain. It always comes to the administration right now just looking to make a buck.
Yep.
Give them to the street racers. Let them make something out of it. LaurenFix.com. Check out everything there. Best place for automotive. Lauren Fix, always a pleasure. Thanks. The Hardline continues.